to another episode of Marriage Matters with PB&J. Join us as we jump into another juicy topic. Before we get started, I will let my friends introduce themselves and we will dive in.
Okay, I'm Dorian Black.
And I'm MeKael Black.
I'm Jeffrey Posey.
And I'm Natalia Posey.
And I am Angela Johnson.
And Robert Johnson.
Yes, so we're going to talk a little bit today about something that I'm sure everybody can relate to. Sustaining your marriage while you're building your career, your dreams, your ministry, if that relates to you. We all know that adding anything additional to your marriage, whether it is a new job, a new ministry assignment, maybe even starting a new business, it's like having another baby. We all have babies around the table. Some of us have more than others. But each time you add a new baby to the family, it changed the dynamics a little bit. And that calls for adjustments on both partners' part.
Yeah.
So Robert's got a few questions he's going to toss around the table. And we will go ahead and dive in. Okay.
First of all, welcome to this episode. And first question is real simple. Who are you when you have to wait or defer your dream or getting support? Who are you when you have to give it first? When you got to support first and you got to defer, getting the support for your career, for your ministry, or for your dream?
That's a good question.
When you say who are you, what do you mean?
Well, it's important that we say that we come to the conclusion about how do I identify myself? How do I see myself when it's not happening for me first? But I'm supporting the other person in the relationship who it is happening for.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess just speaking from experience, like that's been our experience. Like since in our 25 years, that's been it. From Jeff's, we had a career when we got married.
Okay.
And I put, what I was going to do on hold to be with him because I wanted to. We had been apart for so long. I looked forward to being in the same city and in the same state, city, and then house with him and bed with him at night. So it was easy to do.
Okay.
And then I think naturally, then we started having kids and kept having kids and kept having kids.
That's right.
kept having kids because we finally were in the same bed. No, it's fine. I think
Tam, that's a good point.
because we were in the same bed together, and I think it just and I don't mean to sound, I guess, so spiritual in this day, because there were certainly times, and there still are certainly times when I don't feel so spiritual and I don't handle things that way. But I guess the short answer is I'm who God has had me to be in it. I'm Talia. I was Talia as a wife, just being a support, and Talia as a mom of one, of two, of three, of four, five, and whatever other roles. So who I am has not changed.
Okay.
It's still that. But my roles throughout that have been supporter in everything that he does. And he's changed professions quite a bit in those 25 years. And it's still just being his supporter and my household supporter.
Okay, so what did you have to tell yourself, Tal, while doing all of that supporting? And again, whatever you thought about doing when you were in college or even as a young lady or even a little girl, saying, I'm not going to do this. This is a higher priority. I'm placing higher value on this. But what did you have to say about how you saw yourself?
I can honestly say the way I saw myself didn't change.
Okay.
But my desire, like I did. My degree is in kinesiotherapy. It wasn't an easy degree to get.
Okay.
So my mind was saying, shoot, after I did all this and earned this, I'm ready to work. But wanting to be with Jeff outweighed that. Like wanting to finally be in the place with my husband in the same location outweighed that. And I had plenty of people saying, well, you can just stay at home. Because a lot of wives did. They stayed at home, wherever their home was. to pursue, you know, whatever their dream was, and their husbands were. I didn't want that kind of marriage. Like,
Yeah.
I wanted to be with him.
Yeah.
So it was just, this is my priority right now. This is what I'm called to do right now. And I think even throughout the years, even after he retired from football, when it felt like, okay, you know, maybe, it's still, I felt like the Lord was saying, well, just hold up. And it was easy just to hold up. Like, okay, if you telling me to wait and stuff, now I'm at the point where I am starting to itch. So we got to ask this question again.
I got you.
If it hadn't happened in, you know,
I
I don't
got
know,
you.
in my mind, the next year or so, then I may be like, I don't know what's going on right now, because I desire to do it. But
Okay.
yeah, but I guess it's been relatively easy, just because I know that's just what I'm supposed to do. And for me, my value has nothing to do with what I do. Like, I know who I am, and I am who I am. So
In Christ.
yes,
Gotcha.
so that part for
That's
me
big.
hasn't changed.
That's big.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jeff, what about you though? What about how you said, man, I see you making this sacrifice. I see you made this commitment. I see you deferring here. I see you doing this for the family. What kind of thinking did you have to have to allow? Because that's one thing.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we got one mindset to receive, and it's another mindset to be the giver.
Yeah.
So for you to receive this kind of support, how did you have to keep this certain kind of focus?
Well, first of all, I'm extremely grateful for this woman here, my wife. To, you know, like she said, she's extremely intelligent, beautiful, and could run, own anything she wants because she's just that brilliant. So for her to support me the way she has in all my careers and changes and things of that nature, it's been extremely a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way I see it, you know, to allow me to receive that is looking at the bigger picture.
Okay.
What we trying to move to as a family.
Okay.
And you know, and like I think Angela said it earlier that we have to adjust. We may have to when something else comes along, like children come along, and now you gotta go back and adjust that,
Right.
adjust this,
Yeah.
because because you can't lay out the perfect plan. We're gonna do this, that, and end up here, because hey, 4 children down the road, now 5 children down the road,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
not expecting didn't play as long as I thought or would have played. So now you got to do something else, you know,
Correct.
another career.
Yeah.
Because bills still come. You got to do this. You got to adjust to that. So I guess to be able to receive on that end, knowing that, and it's easy to receive when you know you got a supportive wife, and she
Yeah.
has been so supportive in all my different
Okay.
take on.
Yeah.
So it's easy to receive.
Yeah.
Wow. Dorian, you run a business, and your wife is certainly just as much as a business as it is yours.
Right.
Especially in the Christian world and how our worldview is. But what has it been like for you to place demands on her to help you realize those goals?
You know what? In the beginning, it was just me. So she basically was like my secretary.
Okay.
So we just did whatever we had to do. We were, first off, we were on the same page because we had goals. And I never forget though, when I first got into business, it was when we first got married. And I may have said this before, but it's a guy, he sat down with us. I don't know if I said this now, maybe I have. But this guy sat down with us, and I think this set the stage. But he sat down with me and MeKael, and he basically said, talk to MeKael. Said, and basically, in order for this to work, you're going to have to be on board. Because there's going to be some days it's not easy. It's going to be some days where it's rough. He said, but you're going to have to support him. because this business is tough. And from that, we were on the same page. So we had we knew the expectations.
Okay.
Okay. It wasn't any, how some people get into stuff and they have these false realities.
Right.
Well, we knew it was going to take some work to get to where we wanted to go. So we were on the same page, number one. And she just did whatever she had to do in order for us to get to even where we are now.
What did you learn about her watching her do that?
That she loved me. Hey, this girl loved me. Hey, I know she was in it for the long haul. She loved me. Yeah. She was in it for the long haul. Cause I wasn't the easiest person to deal with now. Cause we trying to get somewhere.
Yeah.
And
did you always appreciate her sacrifices?
I always have. It's just I guess in the early years, how you're so focused. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I may have overlooked some things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you.
Just because I'm so focused, just trying to, we just trying to survive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just trying to
You're
survive.
in the driver's seat, you got to keep your eye on the road.
Yeah, keep your eye on the road. Got to stay focused. Yeah. And probably I said some things to her that she didn't like.
She doesn't even remember that.
I just remember that one time I faxed the wrong paper. And it was...
And it turned into a problem.
Yeah.
Hey, look.
Well, she does remember.
That's the one time. That's the one time. Because I was like, how dare he? I'm his wife. I just messed it up. Just faxed the wrong.
But she's always been supportive. So she's always had my back. She's always been there. She's my road dog.
I did things that I was totally uncomfortable doing, like getting on the phone, calling people.
Why'd you do it? I mean,
because I
even
loved
though
him.
It was against your everyday nature.
Everything, going on appointments in the woods, in the boondocks, like
no phone service.
in the dark.
Okay.
Like I was on a movie, getting on the calls.
How do you know you really love her when you doing all that stuff?
Because I knew that this was the man for me. I knew it. I knew it. God set it up, our whole relationship, and I knew what he was doing. God called him to do it. I knew that, and if he called him to it, then
He's gonna see us through.
Yeah, he's gonna see us through it, and I'm just gonna buckle down and do it.
Okay.
And I never was worried about money or anything. I ain't never had it. So I was like, well, you know.
Like growing up.
Like cause we first got in the business, we didn't have it. It was like, it wasn't like anything. It like financially, it wasn't hard for me because it wasn't nothing new for me, you know. So, but the hard work, putting in the work, I knew it was his dream. I knew that he loved finance. I knew he loved that. So I just did what I had to do to help him.
And I think what you said too, I'm thinking when you see it's the dream of somebody you love, then it is easier to do it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. And it goes back, I guess, to a previous episode, thinking about empathy. You know, you put yourself second. Like, of course I have dreams. You know, I've had dreams since, like you said, like I was little, like of doing stuff. But I think the same way as a mom, you know, we put ourselves on I won't say on the back burner, but we defer hours and sacrifice for them. I think it's the same for husbands. Like, we're just empathetic. Like, okay, if I can help you do that, I was telling Jeff, like, some people who just wake up thinking about how to make somebody else's life better.
Yeah.
And it starts with your spouse. Like, when I wake up, it's just like, okay, what can I do today, you know, to make life easier? So I think that when you have that mindset, it makes it easier. Yeah.
And I trusted, and I don't know why, but I trusted that he heard from God. I just felt like he
said, you don't know why.
I just trusted.
There's an emphasis on that.
I just trusted that he really heard from God. Let me tell you.
Give me no evidence.
I just
There's other
trusted.
things he did, Lord, but I heard him on this.
I really did because at the time before I left, I was working somewhere, and before I left that job to go to help him. But at one point while I was still working, I got one of the best job opportunities of my career at that time.
Okay.
And this was to be the director of online learning for a university in another city. And this was like, wow, this is my big break.
Right.
This is my opportunity to really put my degrees to use. I was working, doing things in my degree field, but the pay was not compared to this pay and this prestige and this opportunity. And I said, Dory, I got the job. He said, we got to pray about it. And see, I wasn't confident in who I was in Christ at that time. I wasn't, I was a babe in Christ. So my whole motive was wrong. And he knew it. And when we prayed about it, he was like, the Lord said it's not the time. It's no. I was hurt, but I wasn't devastated. Because I felt like he was more mature in Christ than me. And I felt like he heard from God. And so it was after that's when I left and I came home to work with him. But I just trusted him, even though I had my opportunity to do the one thing that I really wanted to do. I knew my motive for wanting to go for real was to get away, as an escape. But I trusted him with that, so it wasn't damaging to our relationship because I trusted that he heard from God.
So is that how you stay away from having regret after years? If you support your spouse, Angela, you included, if you support your spouse like you have with me in ministry from day one, because I was already doing it before we got married, but how do you avoid not going into resentment? Because you got people who are listening who say, hey, look, I've given 5 years here. Some of them haven't given the kind of time. I tried it for a couple of years and I just started getting mad because I didn't feel like I was appreciated. I felt like opportunities were getting by me. How do you stay away from regret?
It happens. It comes. It knocks at your door because it did with me. And throughout these years of being at home, there has been times where I was like, maybe I'm not doing enough. Maybe I need to go get a job. And then I would bring it to him like, look, what you're doing is much more valuable than what you think it is. Right. And so that would always reassure me because those thoughts of I'm not doing enough would come. So it hasn't been like peaches and creams and rainbows and stars the whole time, because when we first moved in our house and the dynamics changed, like you said, when you have a baby, those dynamics changed. And I remember Dorian used to come home from work, from the office, he was like, what you do all day? And for me, that question triggered me. What you mean what I do all day? I got this baby.
Right.
And then I remember one time, y'all, this was petty. Don't do this, y'all. This was petty. I wrote down every single thing I did. Like, I woke up, I brushed my teeth, I cleaned the baseboards, I did this, I did that, and I read it to him. He's like, okay, you can stop. And I said, nope. You can stop now. Nope. I was just reading the whole page of what I did that day. Because sometimes you can't see what you done did that day.
Right.
You know? But, so it hasn't been peaches and cream. But you have to go back to your why and what God, stay in line with what God said.
That's good. And I think that the most important thing is when you're in that support role, you have to be really, really confident in who God made you to be.
Okay.
Because there's so many, especially in the age of social media where we are, a lot of people do attach their worth to material things, positions, degrees, education, all that titles, all that good stuff. But that's where Christ comes into play, where he can kind of reassure you of who you are in him, who he created you to be, and most importantly, what your purpose is in that season of your life.
Yeah.
And you know, there are some seasons where you're in the supportive role, and I just love how we have managed to complement each other in whatever career pursuits we've had. I feel that we've always complemented each other and supported in whatever small or big ways that we can. Because both of us have worked, and I can say you've been one of my biggest cheerleaders. I can remember after we had our first baby, I decided that I was working in education then, but I wanted to be a school counselor, so I had to go back to school. And I can remember after I got my master's degree, we had a party at the house to just celebrate everybody, including Robert, who supported me. Because I can remember trying to write papers and hold Ben right here and type with one hand and handed them off to Robert, and then calling some of our friends over. Like, we all celebrated. I felt like we all got that master's degree and I'm sure you made adjustments. There were times when I'm sure, because I had classes and I was working while I was in school. So I worked at the university, and I was able to go to class during the workday, and then I still had classes at night. So I'm sure there were times when you probably wanted to be free in the evening and go do a ministry assignment or do a revive something, but you had Ben, and there were times where he went to revival with you. But we just made adjustments in whichever way that we needed to support each other. And
You took my mind back. I remember that.
Yeah.
He was.
Right.
I sat him on the front row. They knew not to bother him.
right.
I said he'll be fine, and he sat there. He paid attention to service,
Yeah.
and then he would tell you
He sat there.
what I preached.
I love it. I thought
God, devil, and sin. I said that's not the details of
he
it.
gave a little. I was trying to think then if I had regrets when you were saying that, and then I thought about it when Angie was talking. Like I think for me, the conversations with God along the way helped me, because it was when I thought about school, just like, okay, I want to go back, and the Lord like, okay, you want to go back, huh? Then I was like, wait, no, like I don't. Like when he would ask me, okay, is this what you want? Then would you rather trade what you're doing for that? And I started thinking about, like, no, no. In my mind initially, I'm thinking that, but no, And then the only moments that I can think of I guess resentment, I have no regrets, but that would be if it was something that I started doing, and then I'd ask Jeff, and he'd like hesitate to help. I'm like, wait now, like that. I have to guard my heart against that. Even today, it's just like, all right now. But if I'm planning an event or asking something, and I ask you to do this, now I am gonna, and it may be my flesh, but I'm like, I am gonna expect you, to come and to support and to be all in with the stuff I ask you to do.
But you know what? You gotta give Jeff, in that instance, as well as all of us at the table, you gotta, Holy Spirit help me with this. You gotta give Jeff as much as you've done for him, and you've done for me, and you've done for Dorian. You gotta give them the okay to have free will. You can't take it away and say, because I'm married to you, you are an extension of my will.
Right.
And you're obligated to do everything I need you to do from here on out.
Yeah.
Because then you're getting rid of the love factor.
Right.
So it's important. Just like if I expect something from you, whether it's cooking, the example you gave, or love making, or I don't care what it is, I can't say that you're I can't say you don't have the right to say no. And as much as you want me not to be, as much as you want to be preserve the right for you to say no, then you got to give me that freedom to say no also.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that we can't sit down and reevaluate and say, are you supportive?
Right.
Are we really a team?
Yeah.
You got the right to do that because you can't give me 1,000 no's and then I give you a million yeses and supporting you with what you're doing.
Right.
And I think too, in supporting, I think people support in different ways. The way you want me to support you may not be the way I think the way my mindset of supporting may be different from what you actually want or how you want me to support.
That's
you.
true. So can you negotiate
So-
the way you support?
I
Yeah.
think you have to, because it may not even be the way I need. I know, like for us,
Yeah.
like if the way with anything, if the way Jeff wants to do something isn't the way I need it done, or vice versa, then we got an issue. If the way I want to affirm him isn't
Yeah.
the way he needs to
That's-
be
that's
affirmed,
good. That's
then we
good.
have an issue.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of goes back into I need to be who you need,
Yeah.
not who necessarily you want me to be, because
Right.
again, but who you genuinely need me to be. And vice
Yeah, I
versa.
think it goes both ways. And like the conversation we had earlier about being direct or hint, be direct. How do you need me to support you? Which
Right.
way?
Yeah.
In which way? You know,
Right.
because as a person and probably as a man, and being part of team stuff, I may support or think that I'm being part of the team or helping or supporting you
Okay.
in the way that I think it should.
Yeah.
Instead of the way that you need it.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so,
That's
so
good.
Yeah.
And I know
Okay.
even my head, like you said a little while ago, he's been in ministry ever since we've been married. But I can see him just delight in small ways that I support. Like we talked recently about, hey, when I get up and get ready to go to the first church on Sundays, if I have to lose a lot of time like trying to figure out what I'm gonna put if you could just make sure that all my stuff is laid out and I can just get up and I don't have to spend a lot of time. It's like little small ways to support. It's not necessarily always showing up wherever he shows up or being up front and being it's small way, and he tells me this is the kind of support that I need, and when it's missing, I feel like I'm kind of on my own a little bit. So yeah, just listening to the way that he wants to be supported and not just jumping in there and doing, whatever I think is the appropriate way that I should be.
It makes me feel
Supporting
good to
him.
leave you in the bed, resting. I mean, I in my way, in my words, I really think that I'm being considerate of you. That's why I don't like to, I don't want to wake you up. I don't want to have to enter into a lot of conversation back and forth, disturbing you. The lights all on all over the place. I just want to be able to go to the area where I got to get dressed, get dressed, get my items, and get out of that door and get out. So she ain't getting disturbed. So that's a way to try to say, I appreciate you and I want you to rest because this service doesn't start till later, and just because I got to get up and move doesn't mean you got to get up and move. But some people are rude spouses.
Oh, yeah.
Let me talk to them right now. Some of them are rude. What I mean by rude is if they feel slighted in any way, I feel unsupported in any way, they'll make your life miserable, and that's not godly.
No.
Talk to him.
Yeah, I'm talking
Lean into the mic.
That's not godly.
Because it's not, in other words, I want you to pay. I want you to feel me. But that's not empathy.
Right.
That's not sympathy. It's not unconditional love.
Yeah.
You missing it. And what's gonna happen is y'all gonna go back and forth
Yeah.
in a tug of war, and y'all gonna go into your little power struggles and live that selfish, self-centered marriage life, and you're gonna miss it.
Yeah.
You're just gonna miss it.
Yeah.
And so when you just gotta say no, hey, maybe I didn't get what I thought I should have gotten, but did I communicate what I thought I wanted?
Yeah.
And did I give her the room or the time to do it? And if she missed the mark, okay, I get it. But let's not miss the mark for 52 Sundays,
Right.
or 51 more.
Right.
Let's figure out how we can get this thing together.
Yeah.
And not just say, I ain't gonna say nothing to her. I'm just gonna see. And now I got resentment and brewing, and I'm gonna see if she correct it next week. I can't do that. That's unrealistic. But,
Yeah.
but people can easily do it. Okay.
And I love how communication keeps coming back. I
Yeah.
mean, it keeps circling back almost at the end of every episode, but definitely communicating about how you need to be supported, and most importantly, adjusting and leaning into the kind of support that is best for your marriage in that season. I think would kind of sum up everything.
Yep.
that we've shared. So thank you all so much for joining us for another episode. Did you have another point that you wanted to share?
Just in us summarizing that I heard little themes kept popping up. That if we're going to support each other, then we got to see what does God say about what it is that you're wanting to do.
That's right.
You know, what does God say?
Right.
Is it God's timing?
That's it.
And are we in agreement about this? And what is our strategy for this?
Yeah.
Because we get an agreement, but we ain't got no strategy.
Yeah.
Right.
So
That's
now
good.
we bumping heads because you ain't have a strategy. So I came with one. Well, I don't really like that. Well, now let's get an agreement about strategy, and then let's bring unity to the table.
Yeah.
We got agreement, but we ain't got no unity. And I'm saying the unity can come because we don't have strategy, or we got two different ones.
Yeah.
Then finally, can we agree on the resources that we need to make this happen? Whether it's help in human resource or in natural resource. What kind of money we need?
That's
What
good.
kind of facilities we need? Do we need equipment to make this happen? You know, and realistically, what people we need. There's so many times, and I like, the point that Jeff was making about, the town got an event, and Jeff, and let's say they got younger children, for example, in this example. Jeff's support might be, let me stay behind and cook. Yeah. Let me stay behind and get them to bed.
That's real.
While you do X, Y, Z, and I'm gonna get a couple people that I know to come and help move things around for you. And but she may have initially thought, "Hey, Jeff, I need you to be there to do that." But Jeff said, "But the trust is." You may not trust somebody to do all this other stuff back at the house, like you trust me to do it. So let me fill in this way, and let me get the help we need. And I'll talk to them and make sure, hey, they're there at the right time. They're helping in this way. And I'm just saying that's where we get to negotiating. Because I'll be like, hey, look, I understand how we can help each other and complete each other. I'm going back to the big picture in a second as we close. How do we complement each other? But also, how do we complete the big picture that needs to be completed?
That's good.
Ms. J, I'm done.
I'm sorry, I'm taking notes. Hopefully on a future topic, complementing and completing. But thank you all so much for joining us. This was a great episode. Not sure if we will continue this topic or kind of tweak it in a different way next time. But thank you for tuning in to Marriage Matters with PB&J. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. Tell us what you liked and what you didn't like. And please join us again for our next episode.